I am joined today by the one and only Gainz Gaming, and we are going to be talking about all of the best and worst things within Rise of Kingdoms. And hopefully it's going to be an entertaining time. Gainz, why don't you say hello to everyone?
What's going on, guys? This is Gainz Gaming. Glad to be here with Shappy once again. It's been a while since we've been live together, so it's good to be here.
Oh, dude, it's been forever, but I am so pumped to have you. It's been a good time. We're in KVK together. For those of you that don't know who Gainz is, be sure to go check him out. His channel's linked in the description. We are going to be going through and ranking a couple different things today. We're going to be talking about some tier lists. I've got the best and worst mini games. I've got the best and worst everything in Rise of Kingdoms, so it should be a good time. We're also going to be going through some of the best and worst mechanics in the games, which is going to be really interesting because I think Rise of Kingdoms has changed so much since both of us started playing. I started in 2019. Gainz, when did you start?
I started in 2020, like right after COVID started.
Oh yeah, so you've been here a while too. So overall, I think we've seen some things come and go. They've repeated some things, they haven't repeated others, so I think it'll be a good time. Either way, though, I think we have to start by talking a little bit about our experience yesterday. We're not going to go on too long. I have a bunch of other videos coming out, but based on what you saw yesterday with some of the previews, are you pumped about what's to come?
I mean, I'm glad that they're, bringing new changes to the game. I think that's good. Investing time and money into it, but I think they also need to control what is way too powerful, which is that siege, like distance shooting or whatever it's called, like the artillery and what was the other one called?
The shifters.
Skirmishers or something. Shifters, yeah, yeah. Shifters are so overpowered. Like, I don't know if you guys were watching the live stream I was doing yesterday. You'll probably see it in Shappy's video coming out here soon too. But they are just so overpowered. They just kill your march in seconds. It's just so overpowered.
Yeah, it's kind of absurd, but honestly, I like it. I think it makes it fun. It keeps things exciting, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Very cool. Well, let's jump into it, Gainz. Let's talk about some of the stuff that we're here to talk about today. And with that, so give me just a sec. Let me pull up all of our good stuff, and I can actually get rolling on some of the fun. Now, before that, I do have to ask, what are some of your favorite things about Rise of Kingdoms?
I mean, one of the main reasons why I've enjoyed it so much is just the versatility that you have, like being able to control your marches. Another game I played was Clash of Clans, which doesn't have that same kind of functionality. And that was like one thing I always hated about like Clash of Clans, for example, is I would like place a troop down and then it would go in opposite direction of where I wanted it to go. And I'm like, man, why can't I control this thing? Versus in Rise of Kingdoms, you can control virtually everything. And so that part of gameplay I really enjoy. The other thing is the community, obviously. Being
Of course.
a YouTuber, it's a little bit different than just being a player, and I've kind of experienced both of that. But just the community of Rise of Kingdoms is pretty fantastic too.
Oh yeah, the community is one of the things that I think makes Rise of Kingdoms such a special game. To be able to play this for as long as we have is absolutely absurd, but I think we're very fortunate. And it's funny, it's not going to be ranked here, but I think if we were to rank the community of Rise of Kingdoms, it would definitely be one of the things that makes it special. So with that, let's jump over to our first tier list. You should be able to see this if you're watching the stream, but if not, I can just send you what we're going to be ranking here. And we can start from left to right. So give me just a sec. And here you go.
And yeah, if you want to send it to me, your stream is kind of lagging on my end.
There you go. Just sent it to you.
There we go. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
So we're going to be going through the first one, and that's going to be Rise of Kingdoms game mechanics. So are you checking it out? Can you see it now?
Yep, I can see it.
Heck yeah. Okay, so game mechanics are one of the things that I think have made Rise of Kingdoms so special, but also so frustrating. And I haven't seen anyone do any kind of game mechanic that covers this or breaks down like what we like, what we dislike. And so I'm going to start off the top and just kind of run through what the different game mechanics we have here. On the left is iconic. That's like the iconic crystals. That's the iconic upgrades. Then we also have the equipment. Equipment was a major update that came to Rise of Kingdoms, and it messed up a lot within the game, especially if you've been here. But I do think it added a lot of value, so we'll break into that. The next thing we have is going to be like formations and armaments. Actually, this is armaments specifically. We have formations down lower down there. I think armaments have been new. They've been exciting. I don't know that anyone except for Bus Driver truly understands them just yet, but that's okay. And then we have Tides of War KVK. I really wanted to include some of the different KVK types here for a couple reasons. One, I think they really mix up the game. If we were all playing Heroic Anthem 15 times in a row, I think we would probably all quit. But fortunately, that's not what we're doing. And so I wanted to include these KVK mechanics. I think they keep the game exciting, and I think it also gives Lilith a little bit of feedback as to whether they should continue what they're doing or they should stop doing certain things. We also have the poison mechanic, which is a combat mechanic, which I have always been a big fan of. I think it's really interesting. They first introduced it with Tamiris, and she's just legendary. And now they have it with Herman, which also just is peak. And we have Smite. Smite damage. They just introduced the Smite tree. We haven't seen it yet. There will be a video going out on Tuesday as soon as I can actually see it. But Smite has also been a really big game changer with Gorgo and Luce. It's diversified the type of combat we have. You have skill bonuses. You don't have skill bonuses. And I think it makes things really, really fun. So there's Smite. And then we also have ranged combat, which we just spoke a little bit about. But I think ranged combat has been fun. It's been challenging, but it's been fun. We've got artifacts. We have crystal tech here. We have museum buffs. That's this one that's right next to artifacts. We have Strategems. Storm of Strategems is another KVK type that allows you to, switch up different skills, and you can add a bunch of different functionality to it. I have a whole video breaking down Storm of Stratagems. Civilizations. I think Civilizations is super underrated, but it's been here forever, and no one's ever actually looked at, is the civilization mechanic working? Does it actually do anything for the game? We also have VIP, KVK Light versus Darkness with KVK Tech, Talent Trees, Formations, Crystal Tech, and the Sovereign Key, Legendary Key, that whole, functionality that we have in the game. And that's the Legendary Tavern. So with that, Gainz, you tell me, what do you want to start with here?
Let's start with equipment.
With equipment. Okay. So we've got the Ring of Doom as our representation of equipment in Rise of Kingdoms. Where do you think this should really fall within S tier, A tier, all that good stuff?
I'm going to put it in A tier. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite implementation of the game, but I think it adds some diversity into the game where, it does kind of separate players. But then, once you get further into, we'll talk about iconics here as well, but then also just looking into upgrading that equipment, that's kind of when it changes. So what I'm referring to is just equipment as a whole, or just at its base point, not so much as the upgrades to that equipment.
So you think it's A tier?
I would put A or S, yeah.
I'll put it in A tier. I think we'll have some more exciting stuff, but I do think by and large, equipment was a good addition to the game, with the exception that it did make it so normal people can no longer be rally leads, which to this day I'm still a little salty about, but I guess, that ship has kind of sailed at this point.
I mean,
okay.
I'd probably argue that it's not equipment that did that. It's the upgrade system to equipment and crystal technology. Because
I think so too.
You and me both, we probably could be rally leads if there was no crystal tech and if there were no upgrades to that equipment system, because we have some of the best equipment in the game, but we don't have the upgrades to that equipment to make it the absolute best it could be.
Exactly. It's the power creep. The gap keeps growing, and so you can't really close it. And that crystal tech, let's do crystal tech. I want to know what you think of this one.
Yeah, I'm in between C tier and remove it, because I don't think removing it is realistic whatsoever. Because obviously that's how they make almost all their money, so they're not going to remove it ever. But I think there should be an option to play KVK without it, and they basically just took away the ability to do that, migrating back to KVK2. And so, or at least for most players, they removed it. So I would put it at C tier just because I'm realistic and know they will never remove it.
Yeah, I want to see what chat thinks too. I'm including them in this. Yeah, I really want to see chat. If you disagree, let me know either in the comment section if you're watching back on this, or if you're in the live chat today. I want to hear from you what you think about all of our choices here. I agree. I would probably put it in C tier because, again, I don't think it's realistic that they're going to remove it as much as I wish they would. But I do, my frustration is right now, if you are in the late game, you don't actually get a choice anymore. And that feels unfair a little bit because you do get a lot of free-to-play players. I'm not free-to-play. You're not free-to-play. But I do think there should be the option for you to actually go ahead and, you know, not have to spend money in order to play KVK. And that could be cool for like a farming KVK or anything like that, right? So, yeah, I think that would have been nice, but it is what it is at this point. And I think we're just kind of stuck. We do actually have someone in the chat saying KVK without tech would be so boring. What do you think about that, Gainz? Do you think tech makes things more or less boring?
I think that there could be a way to make crystal technology without it being like player by player spending levels. Because you know you do have light and darkness KVK on the tier here as well. I think having a KVK season of conquest option to be able to like contribute to the kingdom wide crystal tech, I think that would be really interesting. Because you know you're still gonna have like the whale spending money, and maybe it gives them some extra bonus to do that. But instead of having like an individual player by player crystal tech, I think having a kingdom wide crystal tech would be a good option to have, kind of like a light versus darkness type KVK in Season of Conquest.
I totally agree. I mean, we have so many people that hate on light versus darkness, and like, yes, the map sucks. There's not enough combat. I'll give it to you, right? I read through the comments on my last video. They were not very nice, but it's okay. But I do have to say, right, the light versus darkness KVK tech, I kind of liked it. Like for me, I would bring that into other KVKs and other KVK aspects. I don't know. I think for me, I would put it like B to A tier. Where do you sit?
Sorry, say that again. I was reading Lambo's
Yeah,
chat.
no, for KVK tech, for light versus darkness, like the whole kingdom tech.
Oh, I would put that in S tier, honestly.
Ooh, that's a hot take. I actually agree. Because I think it's just it's a nice way to mix things up. And I believe, keep me honest, chat, but I believe with KVK tech, you actually can donate gems to help improve your KVK tech. So if you do have whales, you can still have that aspect.
And I don't know if you saw what Lambo said. I love this idea. He said implementing higher level forts and barbarians in the off season that give a very minimal amount of crystals that allow free to play and low spenders to grind in the off season. I think that would be fantastic. Even if it's only like, I don't know, 50 crystals for every barbarian you kill. Like that's still better than nothing, right? I mean, obviously in KVK you get like 500. But having that like small amount to then be able to grind in the off season, and also encourage more activity of having those higher level barbarian forts, which has been something that we've asked for so many years now that they just haven't implemented. Because I mean, you only need like 100,000 T4 units to defeat a level 5 barbarian fort.
Oh, it's nuts.
And so I think implementing that would be fantastic.
I agree, and I also think it solves the other problem that we all have seen, which is like as soon as KVK is over, everyone's like, "Meh, I'm done," and then they disappear and come back 3 months later, and it's like, "Oh, great, everyone's back again." But I think it definitely, we need something to keep people playing. Like that, I think is really, really important because KVK off scene is so boring. Okay, what do you want to do next year, Gainz?
We'll do the iconic crystal since that's kind of a gap right there.
Okay. Kind of a gap as in you think it should be B tier or you think it should be removed?
I'm glad you got that pun. I'm gonna I'm gonna put it at B tier. I think it's an interesting concept to give you some extra buffs, but I don't love how like the upgrade system after the Iconic Crystal kind of took place.
Mm-hmm.
So the Iconic Crystal system as a whole, I enjoy, but the upgrade system past the Iconic Crystal, I don't love.
See, that's interesting. I feel like Iconics never really got their moment in the sun, right? You had that first event that came out when Iconic Crystals came out, and then they were like the Iconic upgrade system. But the Iconic upgrade system doesn't actually require Iconic Crystals anymore. And so it's like
Mm-hmm.
they had this idea and they put it in the game, and then they're like, well, it's in the game now, we can't take it away. And I feel that's how I feel. Like I'm somewhere between B and C tier with this, where it's like you never really did anything with them. Like I feel like for tier
I
five
agree with what
iconic
you said.
crystals, like make me have another iconic crystal to get it to tier five. Like do something.
Yeah, I know. Because, like, I'm at the point where every single piece of my equipment, because I have all legendaries right now for all 5 of my marches, and I
Well,
can't put another iconic crystal on because I every single piece is iconic crystal. And so now every single one I get, it's like, I don't even need this because there's
right.
no point for me to have it because I don't require it to upgrade anything. And so, like, the incentive of getting them is like, I don't really care because I don't need it.
Yeah, I'll put it in B tier. For me, I think it's probably a C tier, but we can leave it in B. Just to fill the gap there. Okay. Let's dive into one that I think is probably a little bit controversial. Let's talk about civilizations, right? The whole foundation of this game is Rise of Kingdoms. You have a civilization. It's supposed to matter, right? Where do we think it sits?
I mean, I think that civilizations is something that isn't really talked about at all. Even though I mean, I would call it a pretty big part of how you perform.
Mm-hmm.
Because I personally use France right now, just because I want to save on healing speed ups. But I think that it's like something that people don't really consider except for the very beginning of the game. That's like the only time I really hear questions about it of like, what should I start with?
Yeah,
But you don't really hear about it in the late game because everyone's either Germany for off season, France for fighting if you're open field, or Ottoman if you're rally lead. So there's not a
100%.
whole lot of diversity in the late game, more so just the beginning of the game on trying to improve your account.
Yeah, and I think it's a shame because I remember I put up a suggestion recently in chat. I want to hear your opinion on this. I put up a suggestion recently that they should buff certain commanders based upon the civilization that you have. Because I feel like there are the buffs that you have for the civilization, which actually take a lot of the fun out of it. Like for me, I think there's aesthetic aspects of the civilizations. I think the unit types, I think the history is cool. That kind of gets pushed to the side, which I'm not a fan of. But like, imagine if you chose England and your Boudica got a buff, or if you chose China and Sun Tzu got a buff, right? That would, I think, really
Mm-hmm.
mix things up and change the dynamic of the game in a way that you could start increasing the value of commanders as they arrive, because again, they're all going to arrive with a certain civilization over time. And so, like, I think it'd be really cool. I think it's a nice way to like spice things up. Oh wow, thank you, Lambo. Huge thank you for that. That means a ton. I also do agree transmutation stones do need to be replaced absolutely right now. I got 3. It
Mm-hmm.
killed me. Huge thank you, Lambo. But yeah, Gaines, what do you think of civs? What should they be doing?
I think that'd be a cool concept with like that buffing, kind of like the museum buffs where it buffs certain commanders. I think if it was like a couple different commanders, like with like Scipio, for example, with using Rome,
Mm-hmm.
if if that buffed Scipio Prime, because they're the same commander, I think that'd be cool. Because they're adding these prime commanders, but there's no correlation between the buffs that you get from civilizations and the commanders right now. Even though like you unlock that commander right away at the beginning of the game, there's not really any reason to be like, oh yeah, this is Scipio's civilization. It doesn't
Oh yeah,
really
isn't
matter,
that weird? Scipio's like a leadership commander in the early game, and Rome is all infantry. So it's not even like
hmm
okay. So where are we putting this, Gaines?
I'd put it at B, just because
You'd put
it's
it
like
B.
it could be improved, but it also could be worse.
Okay, that's fair. Now, you mentioned
And
museum
also,
buffs. What do you think?
yeah, museum buffs.
Yeah.
I love museum buffs. I think that they could be stronger though. Um, I mean, obviously there's some that are pretty good, like MetMed or YSG. Like both those are really solid. But I would love to see like Alexander the Great get a bigger one, or Guan
Hmm.
Yu get a bigger one. Attila, these commanders that are like just on the verge of being really good, but their museum buff is just subpar, and so it
Yeah.
like didn't really change how good they were in the open field, besides a couple of extra stats.
I agree, and I think it's funny because we talk about how Lilith really wants to make money, right? That's what we're all here for, is to spend money on this game. But what intrigues me is museum buffs were the perfect opportunity for Lilith to take commanders that are not gold key commanders that require investment and make them ridiculously OP. Like, what would you do if they gave Charlemagne a buff that made him the best rally lead in the game, right? And then they're
Yeah,
releasing
I
two
mean, people
commanders
would
like a
have to
month
max
later.
them.
You have to max him. So, like, you're going to get your whales spending more money, and you have to get people unlocking these museum buffs. Like, I feel like that's such a missed opportunity.
I think it's something they'll take advantage of in the future, but I think right now, like you said, it's a missed opportunity for them.
So, where are you putting it?
Mm, I put it at A tier, just
I
because I
think I
think it
would
could be
too.
improved, but I really like the concept.
I like the concept. I like the intention. I think the actual application has been lacking. I feel like it's been one of those things where it's like, we're just gonna do it and make the free to play happy. But it's like, you could make money off this, and you're making a mistake. But
But they do need to make it easier to get those coins or
those
whatever.
coins, oh, those coins are
Yeah,
impossible.
because you used to get them in pre KVK. Now you don't get any in pre KVK. I don't think.
No, you only get them through like the different civilization events that you can redeem those epic, like the different things for.
And you only get like 10. You
Yeah,
don't get
not
any.
enough, not enough to do anything with.
No. But they're like, oh well, there's this $1 bundle you can get every single day, and it's like, I'm not. No one's getting that
No,
unless like you give them a reason to get it. But no one wants to get that.
exactly. Oh, that would be terrible. Imagine if they did make like one of the commanders in the museum get an absurd buff that brings them into the meta, and all the whales have just been like, "Oh yeah, I already used all my coins on everyone else." That would suck. That would be
That would
amazing to
suck.
watch, but it would suck.
One thing too I want to talk about before that Lambo mentioned with the transmutation crystals,
Mm-hmm.
like the transmutation stones in that crystal inscription shard chest or whatever, that is like the worst thing ever. Like I think that was the most upset I've been opening something ever in Rise of Kingdoms.
They
Not
got
not
you
gonna lie.
too?
Yes. I
Oh
sent like a
man.
very long message in our group chat with all the other content creators, and I think Lambo responded to it as well. But I don't think they even like responded to my message about it.
Yeah, they got me too. I was so angry. I think I got 3 after saving it up for that long. I have a video on it actually that it's just in my backlog, but it's rough. It's really really rough. If I could add like a thing here for inscription chests, I would put them on remove it or C tier. Like it has
You know
to.
what I'd rather have happen? I'd rather get one of those Razor scooters to the shin than open one of those things.
Oh god. That would be pretty brutal. Damn. I missed that one. Shh. I sent it to you, Gainz, and you didn't tell me. Oh well.
What
Okay.
was that?
I said I sent you the tier list and you didn't I missed transmutation stones and inscription shards. Oh well.
Oh, we should have put it on there.
Next time. So let's talk about armaments, right? Because this is all within the greater theme of the fact that armaments release was meh. Where do you think they sit?
Hmm. I'm leaning toward remove it, but that's obviously never gonna happen. Um, I'd probably put it at B tier.
I think so
I
too.
was gonna say C, but I think it's an interesting concept just because of the like different types of what do you even call them? Formations. I
Hmm.
like the formations more than like the armaments.
Well, we have
I
formations
think
separately. So we can
We
rank
do.
those
Okay.
differently.
All right. I won't talk too much about formations then. But with the armaments, I think that it's way too like luck based. It feels like it's just like a lottery where you have a chance of getting extremely lucky and you have like a 99.9% chance of getting absolute crap. And I don't love that it's basically just
A
like what do you
lottery.
call it?
Yeah.
Basically like a lottery or like a slot machine. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I have that same frustration. I think it it's just one of those things where it didn't feel like it was fully fleshed out when they released it. And it got me because like the whole concept of inscriptions was a mistake. Like I like the idea of the buffs. I like the idea that you can have, different tiers of armaments, but the fact that you can only add inscriptions to the scroll, like that's why. That's such a
Yeah,
mistake.
that's stupid. And then
Like
you can only add one.
you
Like
can
it
only add
replaces
one,
it if
even though
you
you
try to
can
add
have
another one.
two,
Yeah.
and you
So you
can't
can have
get
three,
any
can't you?
others.
No, you can only have two. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, you,
But yeah, like I think the stupidest concept with it is that if you have one that you have an inscription on, you can't add another one onto it. Which I don't understand that concept.
right. That bothers me. And again, the fact that like there are four pieces of armaments, and you can only add an inscription manually to one of them. It
Yeah.
just
And I don't know if it's just like the luck that I have, but the only ones that I've gotten like good stats on and good armaments, like my best armaments, are the ones that you can add the inscription onto. So I can't even like if I got
shocker.
like a hunter inscription right now, I could not add it without sacrificing an already very, very good like inscription.
Yeah. So where are we putting this? B tier?
Uh I'll say C tier.
I'm going to as well. Only because it's half baked, right? I think that's what
Yeah.
kills me. Is it's half baked. Like
It
guys,
has
just
too many
fix
improvements
it.
that it needs.
Okay. So we can talk formations now because it's in the same vein. What do you think about formations?
Formations I like. Like I like how there's the different buffs. I like the V formation. Um, I like the versatility that you can add, like with the march speed. The new one they just added for like reinforcing, that you can put on like your farm accounts or in like a filling march. So I like that concept
Mm-hmm.
a lot more than the armament system. So I'd probably put the formation system at like an A, but I
Yeah,
think they kind of botched it with the armament system.
I agree. I also think that with the formation system, like the reason formations aren't an S in my opinion is because certain buffs are so much more OP than others. Like the reduced damage taken
Yep.
one, the hollow square, if they had made that, I think it's like 2 or 3%. If they had made that more,
Two.
if they had made it like, I don't know, 5%, or if they had made it even 3%, it might have been more appealing, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not because I can't do that.
Two
And
percent
like,
is kind of negligible.
exactly. And there are a couple others like echelon formation, like a buffing march.
Yeah,
Like, come
worthless.
on. You guys so could have done better with that. And like triple line formation,
Or
that
like
one's fine.
testudo formation, which takes less like 5% less damage when you have a shield, but and like you increase healing, but that's only good for like what,
Richard.
Richard?
Yeah, it's just Richard.
That's about
Richard
it.
and Martel.
Yeah.
And the circle formation, like that was you didn't need that. Like you just introduced the testudo formation. What why?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they could have done better, which is the only reason this isn't S tier. Cause it's good, but not great.
No,
Okay.
I almost want to put the circle formation on Hugh for chaining and see how that goes.
Oh God. Oh, interesting. Someone suggested that formations should have special skills like charge or thorn, stuff you can activate or just passives that activate in certain situations. That's interesting. I don't know if you were in the exhibition match yesterday, but that's kind of what they went for with some of these new skills. So they could do it, and I think it actually would have been good. Like if they had the V formation be the equivalent of the shifter, like they could have totally done that, and that would have made V formation so much more viable.
I think with like shifters, I think they are gonna debuff them essentially. because I think they need to. But I think a cool concept with those would be kind of like similar to Joan Prime or Herman Prime,
Mm-hmm.
where their like active skill can activate twice. I think having that with that normal ranged attack, similar to like the V formation, I think that'd be an interesting like extra buff you could get on an
Yeah.
armament, where it's like you have a I don't know 20% chance to do an extra normal attack damage, and then you have like 2 arrows that go or whatever. Kind of like with the shifters, you have like arrows firing every 0.2 seconds. Like it's way too fast.
But
Kind
it's
of the
so
same
much fun.
concept, just
But
much
it's so
less.
much fun.
That is when you're the one doing it, not when you're the one taking it.
True. True. We did win yesterday. So, okay, let's keep going here and start getting into some of these actual like KVK ones. Which do you want to start with here? We got stratagems, we've got artifacts, we've got tides. Which do you want to go for?
Let's start with stratagems.
Okay. So what do you think of stratagems? We played a KVK that allowed us to do this. If you're unfamiliar with stratagems, I do believe I have a video where we did a KVK with them. They're a lot of fun. It allows you to essentially pick different buffs that you have and carry them with you for a certain period of time. And it actually really diversifies the fighting because a lot of people pick different stratagems for how they play. What did you think of these?
Stratagems was by far my favorite KVK.
Okay. So what do you think? Should this be S tier?
I'm putting that at S tier. S tier,
Okay.
100%.
Let's do it.
What do you think?
I agree, although there's one on here that I also feel has to be S tier. But we'll get there. I'll keep my preferences to myself for now. But I agree. I think some of the changes they've made with the new KVK styles have been really great. My only caveat is like because they still have crystal tech in it, it does take away from the impact that these stratagems have, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
Because I think if they got rid of the crystal tech, it would make people more excited and in my opinion probably increase spending. But B, it would also have these new functionalities that they added that are so cool have more of an impact. But they don't. So that's the bummer. So
I do think that Stratagems was one of the most free-to-play friendly KVKs, though, in Season of Conquest.
oh, for sure, because they introduced a bunch of different ways for you to get new crystals. They had crystal cost optimization as part of it. Like 100%. It was way more free-to-play friendly. So absolutely.
Definitely.
So what about artifacts?
Let's see. Artifacts, I mean, I gotta put it either A or S tier. I thought that was a really cool way to, be able to use commanders that you maybe weren't going to be using that KVK. I think my Hookabing and YSG was trading like minimum 5-1 when I was using it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just so good. And
Attila
I think
Luce.
implementing that oh yeah, Luce too, yeah. I mean, I don't know if was Luce even in the game when we were playing with
Yeah.
artifacts?
Attila Luce did so well for me. It was
That's right.
absurd.
Yeah. I don't have Attila, so that's why I wasn't using it.
Right. I agree. I actually am going to put artifacts as an A tier. And the reason that I want to do that is very singular. I want more of them. I think the concept that you can only have one artifact, it reduces the fun factor because everyone's running 5 to 7 marches. And if I could actually play around and I can run Ho Chi Bing with, YSG, and I could run Attila with Luce, and I could mix and match my marches. I could run Nevsky with Herman, right? I think that would increase variability in the field fighting, but I also think it would make things more interesting in terms of who you invest in or why you invest in them or what pairs you're running. And sure, maybe you bench a meta commander, whatever, right? I think it spices things up a little bit. And so it's A tier because I want more of them. If they had more of them, it would be S tier.
I agree with that.
That's my take. Chat, what do you guys think? Have you guys used artifacts? Are you a fan of them? Am I wrong? Do you not want them at all? Okay. Let's finally see if we can close this gap. Oh, someone's saying I think that there should be no troop type. That's not what I'm saying, right? I think having troop types is valuable. But I think that by having artifacts, you still have to have a troop type. but you can mix and match your commanders more, which increases variability, right? Because there are so many commanders that are on the bench right now that no one's using. And that's the bummer that I have. The other thing is you're also tied to your equipment. Okay, let's do one that I think we can finally get rid of something. Sovereign Keys and the Legendary Tavern and Heart's Desire.
S tier.
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, so I will put it. I'll give you two answers. From a content basis, I will put it S tier because those videos do really well. From a practicality standpoint, I would probably put it at C or remove.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think content, people do like it. It is so evergreen. I can make 3 or 4 videos where I just open chests and people like it. That said, the Legendary Tavern rarely has commanders that I actually need, which is frustrating. And the other thing is you have to save up 200 of these damn keys in order to actually get 10 gold heads. And Heart's Desire is fine, like whatever. But the other thing is these keys cost 600 gems, I think, which is way too expensive for what they are.
Yeah. No, I think like they are very expensive. And I mean, I think they need to either minimize the amount of commanders that are just completely useless in there, or in just the regular not Heart's Desire, the regular tavern, they need to allow you to choose. Maybe it's 10 instead of 5. That way, you know, you're not getting like Moctezuma, like sculptures, because like I don't need this whatsoever, but I'm still getting it. I mean, like if you could minimize it to 10 commanders instead of however many are in there right now, I think that would be much better.
Right. If they just brought some of the Heart's Desire selectivity into it, I think that would make it better. I don't know. Lambo, I know it's one of the only ways you can get Margaret, but I'm voting remove. If they want to revise it, maybe it'll make it to B or C tier.
That's
Okay. What about Tides KVK? We played that. I think you and I actually had differing opinions on it.
I'd probably put it B tier. I mean, I think it really varied on when the tides landed, because there are at some points where the tides were at like completely useless times where it's like, okay, we can't even do anything here because there's no fighting, and we're missing out on an entire KVK's worth of attack or whatever the bonus was because there's no fighting. And our enemies are fighting and they're getting the buff and we're not. So we're kind of screwed because our enemies aren't fighting us, but our allies' enemies are fighting them. So they're getting the buff and we're not.
Right.
Also, like you have 2 hours to defeat 50 barbarian forts to get 10% march speed for the rest of KVK. If you aren't online in those 2 hours, well, too bad. You're screwed.
Right.
I think that's also stupid.
I agree. I think the time quests were frustrating. I also think that the whole alliance versus individual buff thing was challenging because it added complexity and it also made it so you could miss buffs, which I'm not a big fan of. And again, yeah, there were some things that I loved. Lambo just called out a huge one, was like the fast burning of flags. That was so cool. You remember that? Like
I like that one.
That was great. But it only lasted the first time. And then it was gone. And it was like, why? So I agree. I think it has potential. They should revise the KVK and take some of this feedback in, because I think the more fun KVKs they can have as options, the more likely different kingdoms are actually going to register back to back. Okay, so here's what we have left. We've got VIP, we've got talents, we've got poison, we've got smite, and we've got ranged. What do you think?
Let's go smite.
Smite? Okay. I know where I sit with this.
Ooh. We might be on different standpoints here then.
Okay.
I love smite damage.
I think smite is S tier. Because
we are on the same page then.
Yeah, because
I thought you were gonna say you hated it.
Oh no, I love it. Well, I think it diversified the gameplay. Whenever things get too mundane, the game becomes less exciting. It becomes less interesting. And I think that smite damage has has made things more exciting because you now have different commanders and different commander combos that you can start to use. I think that it also makes it so you now need different buffs, right? The fact that there's a Smite talent tree is going to change everything. Like, Wallace isn't in game yet, but everyone's like, Luce Wallace is going to be meta for Ruins. I'm like, you're probably right, but it's not released yet. I think it's S tier, without a doubt.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm excited to try out the Smite tree. I think that is going to be absolutely fantastic. And I think even if like Wallace was like I don't know, A tier commander, like maybe on the same level as say Guan Yu, even just having the Smite tree, I think makes him a must use.
100%. 100%. He's the only
I
reason why
also
I've
agree
held
with
off
what
on
Lambo just said,
maxing
Smite
Herman.
Civilization.
A Smite Civilization would be really cool. In fairness, you do have an Ottoman Civilization, which gives you skill damage. So I agree.
Yeah.
But again, this goes back to our whole civilization
They should
conversation.
add that there. Or normal damage bonus.
Yeah. There's no civ that has that, I don't think. You got counterattack damage with Vikings, but that's it.
So. Yeah.
Whoa. Someone in chat, Smite damage is the worst nightmare for those infantry rally garrison leaders who went all in on Wedge. Yeah, you're right.
That's true. That's true.
Okay. So
that
we got
would kind of suck. Be like, oh crap.
Whoops.
I mean,
Yeah,
to be fair, like I used to be an infantry main, and I still use 2 infantry marches. I haven't opened a single. I've opened everything wedge. I've not opened a single
Really?
arch formation chest.
Why?
Not one. Because my Smite ones are actually really good.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not as good as my wedge, but like, I mean, I'll send you a picture of what I have on my Luce. It's actually not bad at all.
Yeah, my Scipio Luce is very nice. Okay, so we got a few left. I want to finish with some of the more questionable ones, but let's talk about talents. Talents have been in the game since day one. Day one, you had skills and you had talents. No one makes videos on them. And I don't know that they actually do anything. What do you think?
I think it changes what commander has to be the primary in certain situations. Like, for example, I swear every single time I'm fighting and I'm using my Joan Prime primary over Nevsky, everyone's like, why aren't you using Nevsky primary? I'm like, because Joan is better as primary in a murder ball. And they are always confused as to why, because they don't actually look at the skill tree. And so I would put skill tree at A tier, just because I think it changes how you actually shape your marches based on the skills that you have available or the skill trees you have available.
So you like talents?
I do like talents.
Interesting. Chat, what do you guys think? Do you guys like talents? I feel like I don't know.
What's your take on talents?
I think they're not diverse enough. Right? You've got the skill tree, you've got the talent, the defense tree, you've got the attack tree, you've now got the smite tree. But if you look at the commanders that are in use, and you have the support tree, but if you look at the commanders that are in use, most of them are using skill tree today. And I think that the other thing you have is you've got this versatility tree, which is useless. You've got the peacekeeping tree, you've got the integration tree. Like there are a lot of trees that aren't viable. And for me, that sucks because, like, again, I don't want to have the same setup as you, right? I think that part of this game is being able to express yourself through the marches that you use and have different skills. I think that talents could have been a way that they could have done that. But again, not really. It hasn't materialized that way. So you said A tier. I think I'd put it in B tier. Chat, where are we?
I think I would bring it back. I would bring it down to B because you brought up a good point, which is the useless ones like versatility and peacekeeping. Obviously, peacekeeping is great for barbarians and all that stuff. But when we were talking about open field fighting, I would agree. Like the useless trees, if they could like make those actually viable with something that's beneficial in there, I think people definitely would start to use them.
Right. No, I think that's The more variability they can add into the game, the better, so long as it's not luck based. Yeah, chat says agree.
Yeah.
See, we did a good job.
Where's the
Lambo, where's the
tree?
cheeseburger talent tree? I don't know, honestly. I've been waiting for it since I maxed Attila, and it just isn't here, so here we are. Okay. Let's do one that I think is going to be controversial. VIP. VIP.
I'm going to make you go first in this one, Chappie.
Okay. If you disagree with me,
you might lose a subscriber with Lambo here.
That's right. If you disagree with me, I welcome donations because I can be swayed by donations. I mean, if you guys get me to VIP 18,
money talks.
Exactly. I think VIP is like C tier, if I'm being honest. Like, I recognize the point of it. It's to encourage spending, and it does give you something to put gems into. However, and Lambo, you'll appreciate this one. I think VIP 18 is kind of dumb. Like, VIP 17, the buff is worth it, and it's worth pushing to. But VIP 18 is so ridiculously unattainable for most players. And I think that the buff kind of sucks. Like, if you're spending that much money, I want a better buff. Like, I recognize the point, but yeah, I don't know. I also think, like, Hannibal's the gift. They had VIP commanders, and they're gone. Mina and Hannibal. Who's using either? Let me know in the chat. Not me.
Hey, what about the Trial of Lost Kingdom?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. That's a meta equipment set.
Yep.
So that's...
I would agree with you that the buff from 16 to 17 is far better than the buff from 17 to 18. And also just the attainability of it. I mean, I personally am still about 1.4 million VIP away from VIP 18. Like, that's almost double what I currently have. I don't think I will ever hit that, no matter what.
I'm 1.2.
No matter, even if I get to 1960 GT, I don't think I will ever hit VIP 18. To be completely honest.
I agree. Wow, he actually does. Lambo does use Trial of Lost Kingdom, so maybe Lambo's seeing value out of it. You know, there's always someone. I don't think I'm one of them. I don't spend enough. So Gainz, where are we putting this?
You said C tier, correct?
Yeah, I put C tier.
I would probably put it at B tier.
Okay.
Just because I'm like maybe at like a B plus for VIP,
okay.
And that's mainly because of I mean, I think the benefit of getting gold heads and equipment every single day after VIP 14 or getting 3 every day after VIP 14
That's true.
is fantastic.
I'll give you that.
I think that alone warrants at least a B tier, just because like if you only got 1 a day, no matter what VIP you were, even if you got 0 a day, like that would make the game so much harder. So
100%.
In my opinion, I would put it at B tier just because of the benefit you get. Even at VIP 14, which is, I would say, pretty easy to get for most, even free-to-play players getting there. If you're actually spending, gems on that, I think it's definitely attainable. So I would put B tier just because the benefit you get from getting 3 gold heads a day and getting equipment every day is pretty substantial over the course of months and years.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think you're totally right that the VIP gold heads is the redeeming quality here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And plus the equipment too, or not the equipment, the materials.
That's true. The materials are nice too.
I mean,
they
I'm
do add
basically
up.
getting at VIP 17. You're getting 3 of the what are they? The blue ones.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's almost like a legendary every week. Is that math right?
Yeah.
Almost.
Three equipment material choice chests, a gold key, 3 legendary heads. Yeah. So it's not bad.
That's like almost 1 legendary week.
Yeah, it adds up over time.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, we got 2
Cool
left
Kid
here.
said I would get to VIP 18 no problem in 1960. I think after the short I just put out today, there's no way I will ever be let into 1960.
No, they'll zero you on the spot without a doubt.
Yeah. I just posted it like right when you were starting the stream.
Well, go check it out, guys. It's a good short, and it'll help Gainz win a little bit of money, which he desperately needs for his new car.
Not right now.
So, okay,
Not yet, anyway.
we got two left here, and I know we're coming up on time for you. So let's run through these. I had a whole second tier list that I guess we'll just have to sync up again, Gains. We have poison,
Well,
and
I'm free for like another half hour, so if we can fly
oh,
through
then
that one,
let's knock it out then. Okay, so we
All right,
got
let's do
poison
it.
and we got ranged. Which do you want to do first?
Let's do poison and finish with ranged.
Okay, poison is S tier. Changed my mind.
I think it's just besides when Herman was brought into the game, it was hard to use it. So I think with the implementation of Herman, I think it gets bumped up, but I don't know if I'd put it as S tier, just because there's really only one commander people are using for it, which is Herman.
I agree. I think the functionality of poison was so cool. Like, no one used Tamiris except for the whales. Lambo uses Tamiris. But no one used her. But that poison functionality was so unique and so interesting in terms of how it could change the dynamic for murder balls, for rallies, etc. I love the game mechanic of poison. I agree with you that Tamiris and Herman are it. And that's kind of a bummer. Because, like, even now, I love the poison functionality, but I haven't maxed Herman, so I can't use it. Lambo, I see you. Tamiris is the most underrated commander in the game. How did I know?
You know, it's kind of funny. I don't know if I've told you this, but when I used to play Ark of Osiris all the time, when I only had 4 marches, I would occasionally, this is probably stupid, but I didn't really care. I would use Richard primary with Tamara secondary, and I would go swarm rallies and garrisons with it, just to get the debuffs and the poison stacked on. And it actually did very, very well.
Yeah. And Lambo also called out the target the purple dot. That has been like huge. Because if you can actually find where the poison counter is, everyone's going to swarm that, even if you're not on comms.
Yep.
Okay. So where are we?
I'm gonna put A, just because it's hard. I'm not gonna say hard to use it, but it's not used enough.
Yeah. I agree. To my own dismay. Okay. We got one more. Mr. Siege is not here. He didn't join the stream, so he doesn't get a vote. Maybe he'll watch this and be like, what are you guys talking about? So, ranged combat. What do you think, Gainz?
I think it has a lot of promise, but if the future of ranged combat is what we saw yesterday, I would probably rate it much lower.
Really? Because you think
Mainly
it's broken?
because I think it's too overpowered.
Okay, that's fair. I think they're going to patch that, but I think I've actually been on another side of the coin. I'm going to have a video probably coming out later this week talking about how I think I was wrong about ranged. Because...
Were you not a fan of it?
Well, no. Originally, I wasn't a fan of it. I thought it was trivial. I thought it was selfish. One person camps out a march. They're not in the combat. They're not really doing anything. They get good trades just by sitting there while everyone else fights. Yeah. But having played through yesterday and the new mechanics that they're adding with shifting gears, I think range adds a new layer that is really exciting to me. I think if we're talking about just V formation camping out Margaret, I'd probably sit between C tier and remove it. But if we're talking about the shifting gears, like whole idea of, hey, you can have a sniping range, you can have any march can be a range, you can change skills to make them ranged, like that brings me closer to like a B tier.
I think what Ghostu just said is true. We had a good time with ranged because we had basically unlimited resources and speed ups. I would agree with that. I think that if what we saw yesterday with like all the ranged marches, basically making it impossible to even move onto a territory, like it took us 3 hours to burn 1 flag.
Oh, it was crazy.
In my opinion, is unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree. So where are we putting it?
I think they need to rework it a lot.
Are you saying remove it, Gainz?
What?
Are you saying remove it?
I'm not saying remove it. I think rework it.
Okay, so we'll put it like right right? Somewhat below C tier. I'll put it in C so the people who really care about things being aligned are not.
I would say C tier. I think just because I think what you said is true as well about most ranged commanders right now. Like I used, I mean, I'm investing into Siege too, so I am, or at least on my farm account I am. And I will admit, it's like, yep, I'm just gonna park it there and collect kill points basically.
Yeah,
It's like not, I don't want to say not actual fighting, but it's basically not actual fighting.
yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of it's cheesy. Okay, so that concludes our
It's
first
kind
one.
of like the open field version of cheeseburgering, in my opinion.
100%. Yes,
That's how I feel about it.
it's just cheeky.
Which people demonize cheeseburgering, which I agree, it's a stupid way to fight, but it's very effective. Just like ranged combat is a stupid way to fight, but it's very effective.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that concludes tier list number 1. We're now going to move on to tier list number 2. So let's jump into some of these other questions. Rise of Kingdoms has added a whole bunch of different mini games over time, and I was actually kind of surprised when I went through and I figured out exactly how many of these there were. It's kind of crazy, and some of these people love and some of these people hate. But today we're going to go through and we're actually going to rank these different mini games by what we think are the best and what we think they should get rid of. I think this one may be a little bit more divisive, actually. So with that, Gainz, which do you want to start with here? I know there's one that's your favorite by far.
Oh boy. Let's see. Let's start with Shadow Legion.
Shadow Legion. Okay. We got Shadow Legion on here twice. We'll get rid of that. There we go. Shadow Legion. Where do we want it?
All right. I'm going to have you rank this one, and if you rank it wrong, I'm leaving.
S tier.
All right. I'll stay.
Shadow Legion is the best. I think Shadow Legion is so much fun, and it adds another kind of layer. Again, layers to the game. It gives me something to do in the off season, and it lets me actually invest in Garrison, which most normal players aren't going to be doing. That said, I already did long ago, back when I was a rally commander. We know my opinion on equipment and Crystal Tech. I love Shadow Legion. I think it's a good event. I think the rewards are good. I hope they don't mess with them. It is one of the best events for materials, and it used to be one of the best events for equipment before they changed some of it to make it more Crystal Key friendly.
I think that they need to make it more often, because there was a time where it was like 6 months and no Shadow Legion. I'm like,
yeah,
everyone was
everyone's saying
like,
the same
"Where
thing.
is Shadow Legion?" Yeah, like where is it? It's like this is one of the best events. Like you get, what is it, like 100 and 130, 150 AP pots too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 10 to 15,000 AP that you'd get just from beating the hardest mode, which is super easy. My farm accounts even beat the hardest mode. And so like basically 10 to 15,000 AP plus all the materials, the crystal keys, gems as well. It was like 1,200 or 1,500 gems. I mean, the only drawback with it is just the frequency.
Yeah. I think we need it more. I think the buffs that they have there could also be really interesting, because, like, I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten stomped by Shadow Legion before, and Lambo's like, it's too easy. I think sometimes it is. There used to be a couple times where it gets really rough, and I think they can make it harder without like reducing the rewards that you get. But it's such a great functionality. It's such a great mini game.
I think they need a legend mode.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Kind of
like the last
like,
two, 27
arms
instead
training.
of 25.
I would say even like 30 rounds. Because I agree with Lambo. It's kind of a set it and forget it. Like I have never, like I don't think maybe in the last 2 years have I been worried about Shadow Legion. Like right now, I don't even put gear on my Garrison. I just like, oh, good, Shadow Legion's this weekend, and I don't even think about it.
Free stuff. Okay.
Like even on my farm accounts, I don't even worry about it.
Dude, you use your farm accounts more than anyone I know.
Well, to be fair, I've maxed out Garrisons on all my farm accounts, so.
Okay. I have to do this. And you can tell me I'm wrong. Chat's gonna hate me. Comment section's about to get livid on this one.
Champions of Olympia?
Mm-hmm.
I'm behind that. Get rid of it.
It's such a waste of
Throw
time.
it down the garbage disposal.
The rewards suck. The whole concept of using 3 of the same marches when Lilith has actively encouraged all of us to not do that. It's just dumb. The maps are not stimulating. It takes too long. The rewards aren't good enough for the time that I have to invest into it. I think it's trash.
Yeah, I think they need to get rid of it. And like I would play it for the gold heads and the rankings before they required you to have 5 people. I think that was the stupidest mechanic. Also, I love what Lambo just said.
I saw that too. I'm undefeated in Olympia. I still haven't played a single match. Oh,
Lambo,
man.
I think you should just try playing one match and really just see how bad it really is.
Oh, it's terrible. I'm waiting. You know, the funny thing is, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at the comments, and there are going to be people that are like active supporters of Champions of Olympia. There's going to be a whole comment thread on this video.
Dude, there's some people I see like in Lost Kingdom chat, and like I kid you not, it's always the ones talking trash. And like you look at their profile, and they have like 0 Autark testimonies, they have 0 Ark of Osiris wins, but they have like 2,500 like Champions of Olympia matches. It's like all they do is play Champions of Olympia and talk trash, and that's it.
Oh God, you're not wrong. But yeah.
Seriously, next time you see someone talking trash in Lost Kingdom chat, go look at their profile. They will have like no KVK contribution, no kill points, but they will have a ton of Champions of Olympia wins and losses.
Okay, so we got our removal out of the way. Let's do one I know you love. Arms Master Lohar.
Oh, S tier. Bring in the money.
So for those of you guys that don't know or have no idea who the hell Gainz is, Gainz has the top performing Arms Master Lohar video that he made 3 years ago?
Well, I have 2 now.
Yeah, but how old is your one that's got like 30,000 views?
Yeah, I have one that has like 30. I think the other one is at like 28 right now.
Oh my God.
They're like 2 of my most popular videos. But it's like the one from 3 years ago, and then actually let's see. No, my updated one passed it. It's at 34,000 from 3 months ago. And then the other one's at 33,000 from 2 years ago.
That's ridiculous, dude. So where are you putting this? S tier?
I'm putting that S tier. I love arms training.
Okay. I'll give it to you. I think it's a fun one. I think it's an interesting one. I wish they would change some of the skills occasionally. I think that makes it a little bit more fun, but it's fine.
Plus more videos.
I know, more videos for you, but it would make your video a little less evergreen.
I know. Yeah, at that point, Chisco would probably pass me up, and then I wouldn't get any more views on those videos.
I know.
But it's interesting because like on those videos, it's funny because like I was looking at the analytics between the two, and I almost got the same amount of extra views on my 2-year-old video as I did on my 3-month-old video. Like
so
people
funny.
would go back and watch my 2-year-old video for like the list that you should go off of versus my up-to-date one, which I think is kind of interesting.
I think just no one else makes videos on it. And the other thing is the way the YouTube optimization has worked for you is like, because you have so many views and such a good like ratio on it, even if I made a view on it, like a video on it tomorrow, my impression click-through would be terrible because yours is going to get pushed.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's the thing is like YouTube rewards success. And if you don't have, a ton of really successful videos, it's not going to push you, even if it's great content. It's just how it works.
100%. Okay. I
could put out a really crappy video and it will still probably do decent. I mean, like Chisco could put out a video and put 20 seconds of work into it and he'll get 10,000 views versus like our extremely good videos are 10,000 views.
Yeah, my early game equipment guide with 500 views because
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, we got 2 Ceroli events here, which honestly, Lilith, like, guys, what's with the naming convention? We could do so much better than we're doing, but okay. We got Ceroli Crisis and we've got Ceroli Assault. Which do you want to do first?
Trying to think which one is which.
Ceroli Crisis is the one with the 5 different bosses.
Oh, yeah. So it's hard because I hate it, but the rewards are worth it. That's what I hate about it.
Are they?
I
only ever do, I think, 2 or 3 of them, and then I can cash out on all the equipment chests.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like the equipment chest, the speed ups, 50 hours of speed ups, and then I just started buying the Kiara heads or Akira heads or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I have her at like, I don't know, 2111. And I swear every single time I'm in KVK with Bastions, her like Bastion is one of the skills. And like
I've seen that.
I have this at like level 2. Like this KVK, for example. So I mean, that's why I'm starting to buy her sculpture. So for me, it's somewhat worth it. But yeah, I'm missing out on stats because I'm not buying it. But I like the assault one because it's faster. Like you can get it done in 15 minutes, and it's not that much work at all.
I wish they made it harder
because of the strategy.
Yeah.
You wish they made it harder?
I wish they made assault a little bit harder. You know,
for the rewards that you get from it, I mean,
that's true.
I'm glad it's not hard because if it was harder, I wouldn't do it.
I think, yeah, balance. But okay, where are we putting both of these?
I would put Crisis at C, Assault at B.
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I don't like either, but they're tolerable for the rewards.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, we got one that's a hot take, and that is Tempest Clash.
Tempest Clash. I'm gonna put B tier.
Really?
I think it could have been so much more fun.
I think so too. I really liked it when it first came out, and I was really excited about it. And I made videos on it. I think I've made more Tempest Clash videos than any other creator, except for maybe Chiskel.
I think I've only made 1 or 2.
But no one likes it. A lot of people really hate it. Like, a lot of people hate it. But I agree. I would put Tempest Clash at a nice B tier. I think they could make it better. I think the rewards are good. I think it's fairly quick. I'm going B tier. Chat, what do you guys think? Are we wrong here? Is Tempest Clash really that bad? Let me know in the comment section. What are we thinking? Okay. Now we got 2 others. We got Triarch Trouble and we got War of the Ruins. Who can tell me the difference between the 2?
Triarch Trouble? What is that?
That was an event that I made a video on. It came out. It was just like War of the Ruins, except I think it was better. I think it's like a better version of War of the Ruins.
Oh, I think I remember it.
You remember this? It came out recently. I was a really big fan of it.
Yeah, it had like one extra thing with it, right? Where it was like, I'm trying to think what it was. It's like one small characteristic difference.
Yeah. There was one small difference. Let me know in the comment section. What was the difference between these 2? But I always loved War of the Ruins. I think War of the Ruins is fun, right? You pick one march, you get to go around trying to kill other people, and you go from there, and you get some skills that show up. Triarch Trouble was really similar, I think. Oh, you had a teammate. You had teammates in Triarch Trouble.
That's right. You had a teammate, yep.
That was what it is you got 3 random teammates.
Team of 3.
Exactly. Okay, guys, we figured it out. So I like War of the Ruins better.
I like War of the Ruins better. However, I almost would put it at S tier, but I'm gonna put it at A because you can't zoom out, and that is the most frustrating thing. You can't.
Yeah, because you can't see anyone. All you do is you get the little like thing that points you. I agree.
It's almost an S tier if you could zoom. That's the only thing I wish was different. And also,
that's an easy
fix. Skills. Yeah, there's like so many skills that I don't even know what they do. because it's just like you get a skill and you use it. It's like I don't know what that did, but I'm using it. I think that if they had like skills that you could choose that just loaded and you could use it, kind of like in Champions of Olympia, I
Mm-hmm.
think that'd be more enjoyable rather than just getting random ones at random times. Because like you might be walking up to somebody and they randomly get the skill that like adds 50,000 units, and then you're dead.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think
I think it's just too random.
it could be improved.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we putting Triarch Trouble, by the way?
I'll put it at B.
B tier,
Just
you
because
think?
I'd say it's slightly below War of the Runes. I mean, you could put it at A, but I'd probably put it at B.
Okay, so we can do that. Here we go, B tier. And this just got way too big. There we go, much better. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so we'll put that at B tier. I was actually just copying in Race Against Time because I missed that one. Do you know what Race Against Time is? Gainz?
Race Against Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the barbarians.
Yeah. Where do we put that one?
Yeah, I like Race Against Time. I'd probably put it at B tier. I would
agree.
put it at A, but that one time that we did it together, and
Oh, we
I
got
started like
passed
half a
within the
second
last,
earlier
like,
than
10
you,
minutes.
and then you ended up beating me because you defeated one more barbarian. Remember
Just for that, I'm putting it in A tier. Just because of that.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, we got a few more left. We have Golden Kingdom, Ark of Osiris, Protect the Supplies, and Karuak. Which do you want to do?
Let's do Kyrak.
Karuak? Karuak is S tier.
I agree.
Does
probably
anyone
one of
in
the
the
best
comment
events.
section think Karuak is not S tier? No? Okay, so here's my take on Karuak. Karuak could be even better, but the reason it's not is because the bosses. The fact that I can't resummon bosses
Yeah.
and try and redo it drives me crazy. And in fact, we have Protect the Supplies lower down, and it's team sequel. They're the same thing, but they're one individual, one team. The fact that they can do it without me and then I cannot get the rewards drives me absolutely crazy.
Honestly, like Protect the Supplies, like I would put it S tier, but just for that reason, like if you miss it, you can't do it over. But Kurok, you can.
That's
Just like
true.
you said.
Yeah, I think honestly, Protect the Supplies for me is going straight to C only because of that reason. Because like I
Yep.
get what 9 hours of speed
I
ups.
mean, it's 6 gold heads. 6 gold heads if you do it. But
Right.
if you
But
miss
if you miss it,
you're screwed.
right?
You can't get
I
anything.
agree. So where are we putting it?
I
think
also miss the like protected supplies on your own, because actually is that the same one? Because I know there's one that's only the alliance and one that is individual.
Yeah, I'm including them as the same. But if you have a preference for one over
Okay.
the other, this screenshot's
Yeah,
actually
I mean,
the individual.
I put them both at A. Yeah.
You would. Chat, what do we
What would you
think?
put it at?
I would put it at B.
B.
I think the
I think
amount
for
of time
6
it
gold
takes is
heads-
kind of a pain.
Well, it really only takes like 10 minutes per, so 30 minutes total. Compare that to the Kurok ceremony for half the amount of heads and basically no AP. You're getting 6 gold heads.
That's fair. And the solo one you can do whenever you want. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. A tier it is.
And if you watch my guide, you can get 20 gold heads on the protective supplies.
Oh, get out of here with your shameless plugging. Okay, I think we have to do Ian's next.
Ian's?
Yeah.
You know, I'll be honest, when we were talking about Cerulean Assault, I was thinking of Ian's Ballads.
Okay, well, what do you think of Ian's Ballads?
I would also put it at B, but I confused the two.
Really? I like Ian's Ballad. I think the concept behind Ian's
I like
Ballad
how
is
fast
fun.
it is.
Oh, it's 4 minutes. I have a whole video telling people how to speedrun it. I think that
Yeah.
Ian's Ballads is fun. I think the rewards are interesting. I think it encourages teamwork, but it doesn't require a terribly large amount of intelligence. So most people can do it, even if you do match with randos, which I like. Like if you try and do Soroli Crisis with randos, odds are pretty high you're going to be screwed.
Yeah, you
But
can't
like
do it.
Ian's, you can rando and do fine.
I might put it at A for that.
I would put
just
it
because
at
of the
A.
ease of it. But the one downside that I don't love is that like Soroli, for example, is 3 days long versus Ian's is only 2 days. And sometimes like I see Ian's ballads and I mix up the time frame with Soroli, and then it's like, oh crap, it ends at reset, and I only have 15 minutes to try to finish it.
Yeah, but it's 4 minutes.
Has that ever happened to you?
Not with Ian's. Ian's, I do off the bat. Soroli, I'll just ignore. Like there have been a bunch of times where I'm like, I don't have the patience.
That's the thing. I confuse the two, and I'm like, oh great, it's this again. Oh wait, no, this is different. And then I think I have 3 days to do it. I only have 2. But that's just on me. That's not a flaw of the game.
That's on
I
you.
put it at A. Yeah.
Okay. We got 2 left, and they're both very divisive, I think. I think they're very divisive. We've got Golden Kingdom, and we've got Ark of Osiris. I think we should do Golden Kingdom first.
I mean, I used to probably would put this at C or remove, because there was a time and point where I would fail it like 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I
and
had
would
that.
just give up.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point I haven't failed it in like 2 years. But
I haven't
there was
failed
a time
it, but
where
it
I
takes
kept on failing.
so long.
Yeah. And the rewards, like whenever
Crystal
I
keys?
open up, like, yeah, when you get all crystal keys, and it's like, really, I just spent well over a half hour trying to finish this thing. It's just so frustrating.
I would put this in C tier. They've made a lot of progress, right? I'm not failing it as often, which means it's more balanced. I like the new skills and UI styling that they've added to it. I think it makes it fun and cool. But the fact that I spend like easily 40 minutes on it and the rewards suck, like, oh, really? That's just so...
You can get really good rewards, but you have to get lucky.
Can you? I've never gotten good rewards.
Yeah, there's been times where I've opened up, like, I don't know how many you get, like if it's 10 or 12 or whatever, of those chests. I don't know if it's even that much, but I opened it up and I got all, what is it? Not materials, blueprints.
Fragments?
I got all blueprints, not a single crystal key.
Dang.
And there's other times where I open them up and I get all crystal keys.
That's me every time. I've only ever gotten crystal keys.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we putting it?
I
vote
C.
C.
Not worth it. Blueprint's worth it.
Yeah.
I would put C.
Okay.
Just because the time it takes, the frustration it can bring, and the risk of getting bad rewards.
I agree. Okay. Ark of Osiris. Ark of Osiris.
I used to play Ark every weekend, and I don't anymore.
I also don't play Ark anymore. I'm going to start a poll.
I play Osiris League, but that's it. I don't play regular Ark.
Okay. Y'all, there's going to be a poll. S, A, B, C. Okay. I only get 4 options. Remove it's not going to be an option, guys. Okay, chat. I need your input. I have opinions on it, but I am in the same boat as Gainz. I used to make the time to play this every single weekend, but I haven't played it in months. Just because the timing
I haven't either.
The timing is so hard.
The timing is what I don't like.
Yeah. Okay, we got a lot of people that are liking it so far. We got 18 viewers, guys. Give us some votes. Everyone's like, why don't you play Ark of Osiris? Because it's on Sunday morning, guys. It's on Sunday morning, and I can't do it.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is that in S, and I guess I could go to a different alliance, but that's just a pain to have to remember every Thursday night, go to this alliance to go play at this time. But like S79, our main alliance, we used to play at 20 UTC on Sunday, which was like 3 or 4 p.m.
Yeah,
which
that
was
was
like
the
perfect
best
for me because I'd be like watching football I'm like, I'm just lounging around anyway. I can play Ark of Osiris. And then they switched it to 8 a.m.
Yep.
And I am not playing Ark of Osiris at 8 a.m. unless it's
No,
Osiris League. I'm not doing that on Sunday morning.
I'm in the same boat. Okay, so we've got 6 votes, and 83% say S tier. So here's the thing. Ark of Osiris has some of the best rewards in the game. It's also really fun.
Yeah.
Like if you actually play it and you're on a team where you go on Discord and you're like shouting at each other, it's a lot of fun. And the strategy involved can make it really, really exciting. The challenging part is the timing, I think, and the sweatiness of it. Like if you're in a really good kingdom, like sometimes you won't even get to play. And that sucks.
Yeah.
So like I'll put it in S
Be your
tier because that's
backup.
what chat voted for. But I have opinions on this, and I do, when I look back, I want to see the comment section, let me know what they think. I think this should be A. That's just my take.
What tier?
A tier.
A tier?
Yeah.
I would probably put A tier as well. I think just because in a lot of highly competitive kingdoms, you have to go to like a farm alliance essentially to be able to play, which then you might get screwed over in matchmaking because I know matchmaking is still an issue for a lot of kingdoms.
Yeah.
Especially in, farm alliances where you might only have, say, 10 to 15 people that sign up, which is then harder to plan as well. I used to plan the Arc team in my previous kingdom, and it was always like, holy crap, are you kidding me? We only have 15 people this match, and it'd just be a huge pain to match it or to plan for it. Even more casually, it was still like, this is just a pain to match up against, I don't know, 25 players, and all of them are 90 million plus power, and you just get destroyed.
That's rough.
And it's or you match up and they don't even fight, and you have to farm 10,000 points. Like that.
Oh
that's
God,
always a
I've
risk
had
too.
that. I had that once. It was terrible.
Yeah, I've had that way too many times.
Well, I think that's it. That's all I had for our tier lists. Thank you so much, Gainz. Is there anything else you want to say to the viewers before I let you go?
No, I mean, it was a lot of fun. We gotta do more streams together because it's always fun to chat about different topics. And if you are around for our next fight or for Kingsland, you want to hop on my stream, by all means.
Ooh. Well, if you guys haven't already, do be sure to go check Gainz' channel out. It is linked in the description. He's awesome. You're probably already subbed to him, but if you're not, go check him out. Thank you all. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, do hit that subscribe button right over there, bottom right-hand corner, and hit the bell so you get notified when new episodes come out. Helps me out a lot, and it also makes it so you don't miss all the great content coming. And if you missed this stream, I am going to be cutting this up into a bunch of other videos so you guys can enjoy it that way as well. Thank you all. Shappy and Gainz out.
See you guys.